Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang, your intel on the Philippine markets and the economy. In the headlines, remittances from Filipinos overseas hit a record $3.5 billion in December. In my special report from London, Filipino nurses in the UK find themselves at the crossroads between stricter migration rules and a staffing shortage back home in the Philippines.
If we are able to sustain them here and keep them here, make them feel valued, give them the equitable pay, they will stay.
And on the first day of the Lunar New Year, the world's oldest Chinatown in Binondo, Manila welcomes the fire horse. We'll take a look at the situation from the ground in a few minutes. Money sent home by overseas Filipino workers hit a record high in 2025. Preliminary data from the Bangko Sentral show cash remittances rose 3.3% year-on-year to $35.63 billion. This is well above the 3% growth projection of the central bank for the year. In December alone, remittances rose by over 4% to a record $3.5 billion, the highest monthly level on record, driven by holiday spending. Nearly 40% came from OFWs in the U.S., followed by Singapore and Saudi Arabia. Land-based workers sent $28 billion, up 3.4%, while sea-based remittances rose nearly 3% to $7.1 billion. RCBC Chief Economist Mike Ricafort said the faster December growth was supported by a relatively higher dollar-peso exchange rate during the holidays, making it more attractive for OFWs to convert funds to pesos. He added that sustained single-digit remittance growth remains a bright spot for the economy, helping support consumer spending, which accounts for about 75% of GDP. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, has kept its 5.1% growth forecast for the Philippine economy in 2026. The OECD said sustaining growth will depend on prudent fiscal policy, stronger tax revenue collection, and better public investment. It also warned rising debt and spending pressures could limit fiscal space if reforms are not pursued. Former Finance Secretary Gary Teves welcomed the recommendation, saying fiscal consolidation is needed to keep public finances stable and prepare for future crises. But he pushed for a balanced approach, cutting wasteful spending and improving tax efficiency instead of relying heavily on new revenue measures. Meanwhile, some analysts raised concerns over a key OECD proposal to remove VAT exemptions for senior citizens, private education, and healthcare. They warned this could raise costs for many Filipinos and be socially harmful, especially for low and middle-income households. The Department of Public Works and Highways is accelerating repairs on the Maharlika Highway and EDSA ahead of Holy Week. To ensure smoother travel, the agency plans to remove obstructions and apply temporary patches on damaged areas. Sidewalk repairs in EDSA are scheduled to start in July, while full road rehabilitation is expected to be completed by May. Secretary Vince Dizon apologized in advance to motorists for any inconvenience caused by the intensified repair operations. The DPWH will also request a 24/7 work permit from the MMDA to continue EDSA rehabilitation during Holy Week.
Hihingi lang ako ng paumanhin sa mga kababayan nating gumagamit ng Maharlika Highway ngayon. Kasi talagang pinapaspasan natin ang lahat ng repairs now. Kasi we are preparing for the Holy Week. Talagang full blast tayo nagre-repair sa Maharlika ngayon. Lalo-lalo na sa Quezon, sa Bicol, sa Samar.
In other news, Filipino nurses in the UK face tighter migration rules, possibly impeding new international joiners from the Philippines, resulting in a squeeze on remittance flows. Here's my report from London. Here in the UK, Filipino nurses are the backbone of the National Health Service, plugging critical staffing gaps in an aging country. Their service, in turn, sustains household consumption and growth in the Philippines through remittances. But new migration rules here is redrawing that map of opportunity. No one has felt these shifting winds more than May Parsons, the British-Filipino nurse who became the first person in the world to deliver the COVID-19 vaccine to a patient outside clinical trial. Parsons, who has since received the George Cross Award from the late Queen, has set up the May Parsons Foundation to help Filipino nursing graduates and licensed nurses get into the profession.
The foundation then helps our fellow nurses, not just our nurses actually, all of our healthcare professionals, but even non-healthcare professionals comes to me and asks for support in terms of, services that can help them overcome any issues of burnout, of stress, of mental health issues. The focus is just to ensure that they get the services that they need.
We are more fortunate than we perhaps realize to have many thousands of nurses and other healthcare workers from the Philippines working in the United Kingdom, particularly in the National Health Service.
Fast forward post-pandemic, the UK's health and care sector faces tightening restrictions. New migration plans have reduced net arrivals, tightened salary thresholds, and curbed dependence on overseas workers in social care. Data from the Nursing and Midwifery Council show a near 50% drop in new international joiners in just 6 months. April to September 2025 alone saw the lowest intake in 5 years, with steep declines coming from the Philippines, India, and Nigeria as the UK shifted toward domestic recruitment.
But there's certainly been a big decrease in the number of what they call health and social care visas that have been issued by the UK government over the last 12 months or so, and that's deliberate policy tightening. And of course, a lot of this, would have been naturally to the benefit of Ws.
The UK is consistently among the top 5 country sources of OFW remittances, after the US, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, and Japan. In percentage terms, the UK's remittance share is comparable to Canada and slightly below Japan. The U.S. still makes up the biggest share at over 40%. In the Philippines, staffing shortages continue to persist post-pandemic as nursing graduates find better-paying placements overseas or end up taking higher-paying non-medical jobs. Calls to raise basic pay of entry-level nurses languish in Congress. Bills at the Senate and House aim to raise compensation for Filipino nurses to between 40% and 74%.
Having more robust systems where there's a better streamline of how we're serving the populations that need health care and adjusting to that demand. If we consider the health workforce, the supply, and the population as the demand, then we need to make sure that the ratio is working effectively. And that becomes, again, as you mentioned, the governmental responsibility.
So Filipino nursing graduates find themselves at the crossroads between stricter UK migration rules and a staffing shortage back home in the Philippines. How then do we make the most out of the situation?
If we are able to sustain them here and keep them here, make them feel valued, give them the equitable pay, they will stay. So the UK has been the largest market for our international nurses, specifically for Philippines, in recent years, but that is because of the change in legislation again. I am hopeful that that is still going to be changing because the amount of data that we're getting that people are saying that we still lack nurses in the front line is still enduring. Okay, so I'm hopeful that it's not going to be long until they'll start opening again with the recruitment.
Will Filipino nursing graduates still see the UK as their best opportunity? Or will they opt for more supportive systems elsewhere? Elsewhere could still include the Philippines, if and when policy support comes through. Reporting from London, I'm Cathy Yang. We are One News. Headlines from around the the globe, in China, cultural traditions and varied landscapes take center stage at the 2026 Spring Festival Gala as the country welcomes Chinese New Year. To usher in the Year of the Fire Horse, China has showcased some of its provinces like Yibin, known for its ancient architecture and sceneries, and Hefei, an emerging sci-tech innovation hub. China's Spring Festival is part of UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. In other parts of the globe, like Malaysia, people are greeted with colorful murals and festive installations in Kuala Lumpur's Chinatown, while citizens in Lima, Peru are enjoying traditional Chinese restaurants. In India, its first AI summit faces a wave of online criticism due to the long lines and overcrowding. These lapses threaten to jeopardize the summit's intent of showcasing India's AI ambitions. The summit will run until February 20th, with global leaders like French President Emmanuel Macron expected to attend. And the entertainment world has lost another icon. Oscar-winning actor Robert Duvall has died at the age of 95. His wife did not say the cause of death. Duvall first appeared in the 1962 classic To Kill a Mockingbird. In the 6 decades since, he went on to play memorable roles in films such as The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. In 1983, Duvall appeared as a country star in Tender Mercies, for which he won his sole Academy Award for Best Actor. You're watching Money Talks. Coming up, in celebration of National Arts Month, we focus in on Art House, a creative, multi-channel, sustainable platform for Filipino art, and speak with Art House founder and CEO Carlo Pineda. And a check on the celebrations of the Lunar New Year in the world's oldest Chinatown, Binondo. Keep it here on One News. Back to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang, checking in on the markets. Global shares steadied on Monday after Friday's drop triggered by AI jitters. Still, the pullback signals a shift in market psychology. Analysts say investors are now moving from rewarding long-term AI ambitions to demanding near-term earnings visibility. Market value of some of the world's most valuable tech stocks have been wiped out at the start of the year. Microsoft has lost $613 billion, Apple by $256 billion, and both Nvidia and Alphabet by nearly $90 billion. Defensive stocks have benefited from a rotation out of tech amid concerns about huge capex spending. Goldman Sachs noted that as capex has surged, S&P 500 buybacks have dropped by 7% from a year ago. Stock futures are little changed in after-hours trading. The Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq are all up by about 0.1% each. And Asian markets are looking like a mixed bag this Tuesday. Australia's ASX 200 up by over 0.5%, and Japan's Nikkei 225 is down by nearly 0.5%. South Korea's Kospi remains closed until tomorrow due to the Korean New Year. Australia's central bank concluded inflation would remain stubbornly high if it did not hike interest rates this month, according to the minutes of the board meeting released today. And Philippine markets are closed this Tuesday in celebration of Chinese New Year, a special non-working holiday. PSEI ended yesterday's session in the red, down by 0.25%, as investors chose to stay on the side while waiting for fresh catalysts. The broader all-shares index tumbled by nearly 1%, with local counters all on the decline except for financials. As for the Philippine peso, it returned to the 57 per dollar level, the highest since October 8, 2025, as cooler than forecast U.S. inflation bolstered the case for another Fed rate cut. And the 10-year government bond yields ticked down to 5.934%. Trading resumes tomorrow, February 18th. In corporate news, sources say Maya is exploring a potential U.S. initial public offering that could raise between $500 million and $1 billion. A Bloomberg report says the digital payments and banking firm is working with advisors on a possible listing as early as this year, though details remain under discussion and may change. Maya said it does not comment on market speculation and is focused on expanding its digital financial services in the Philippines. The report comes as several Southeast Asian firms weigh overseas listings, while regulators here at home move to ease IPO rules to attract more large companies to the local market. Art House has been described as a creative, multi-channel platform that aims to make Filipino art accessible and reintroduce the Filipino identity to the world. Its owner puts a premium on public and sustainable art, often saying every Filipino should have cultural access. With us for more is Art House founder and CEO Carlo Pineda. It's good having you here, Carlo, and Happy Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese New Year. Thank you for having me here today.
All right, so how is business coming along? It's been 4 years since you set up Art House, and this is a multi-platform initiative.
Yes.
Very much unlike a traditional gallery or auction house, I presume.
Yes, we created the platform to attract Filipino talent, and specifically we're focusing on the Philippine diasporic talent that's available all around the world. And what's important there is we entice the cultural exchange that happens because of it.
And what has happened since? I've seen one, at least online, of Lakbay, where you've brought in a lot of that diaspora from the US, Filipino artists, coming together in a community and merging them with the locals. How did that come about? And what are the metrics for success anyway? I mean, how do you make money from this?
Well, first of all, about the platform of Lakbay. We created it as a program to allow us to work with the Filipino diasporic talent, like I mentioned earlier. And I think what's important there is the aspect of cultural exchange, that there is a new creative output, which is an effect of that. And we believe that the Philippines got talent. I think it's very simple. And so for that, we are creating, the platform is creating a new young and emerging collector base from the Philippines, at the same time giving access to the Filipino international artists that don't have access to the Philippines yet. And for us, that sort of merge within the platform is very important.
And it's interesting you make a mention of the young collectors. Suddenly, they're in the scene. They got some money to invest in art that they hadn't seen before. How are you harnessing that sort of collective from the young and initiate the interest?
I think for the young, there's a lot of focus on sustainability. And we've anchored the Art House platform DNA on sustainability. So from day one, we've always touched on conceptual art, putting all these recycled materials and creating a new output because of it. So we had one project wherein we collated 30,000 water bottles and created a public installation for everyone to enjoy. So Lakbay allows us to harness that talent and at the same time educate the younger market for a potential way to make both ends meet and markets merge.
What is that younger market showing you in terms of sustainability going forward? Because I would presume nobody wants to see 30,000 recycled bottles repetitively in different executions. Perhaps down the line, it wouldn't have to be recycled because it already is sustainable. What are you seeing?
So what we see there is the importance of the educational aspect. Because that's what makes it sustainable. For them, trusting the platform of Art House, that's first. Second, recognizing what its DNA. And third, understanding what the story and vision of Art House. And because of that, we're hoping that this new market will support the platform.
And are the artists latching on? I mean, presumably they're the seniors who have migrated from the Philippines to the U.S.
So That's correct. So specific to our last show, Lakbay, here in 2026, we featured Linky Sumbing as our artist. So she used to live 20 or 25 years in New York and then came back. And basically, we're presenting conceptual art wherein because of the different items that she has encountered through her life, she gave it new purpose, new meaning, new context. And by doing that, I think it's very new to the market, especially to the younger generation. We're hoping that they would be able to understand that concept and really support it as a way forward. And making it also sustainable for Art House in terms of metrics, in terms of sales performance.
Which leads me back to my first question. Have you made money in your 4 years?
Yes, we have. We are profitable. We just need to, I think, capture a larger audience. And one of the aspects, one of the markets that we also want to tap are the Filipinos, the 16 million Filipinos that are overseas. Trusting the platform to invest in the artists that are being featured.
So 16 million overseas Filipinos who could actually pick up a paintbrush, probably create art for a market here that is young and willing to buy their artwork.
So the 16 million is the total population of the Philippine diaspora. A percentage of that, maybe 1-2%, are the artists. But the rest of the market are the investors, the collectors. So we have to start somewhere, make us a trustworthy platform, and allow them access to this platform and understand what we're doing.
And that platform is just part of this full ecosystem because you've also got the collaborators. And Collaborate you have. What has that come up to in terms of scale? You wanted to bring in a broader sort of community, but what is scale bringing you right now in the collaborations you've made?
So in terms of collaboration, we work with property developers, allowing the younger generation to access and be educated with the art. I think that's the first. Second, we come up with shows that will allow them to take a look at what they can invest in. And third, what's very important is for them to understand the story of each artist, because from there they will want to either invest in that artist or understand more information about them. And of course, in the hope that a transaction happens under the Art House platform.
And that ecosystem grows beyond the private sector. What about collaboration with government? Have you had any success and any interest in maybe the local government level? Because you wanted to focus in communities, so you got to latch on to the LGUs at some point.
So we've presented to a few LGUs, but unfortunately, no success yet.
Because?
More of budget. I think it's more on the side of reappropriating the budget for something that's on the art side. I think, second, we can work with the Department of Tourism and the Department of Foreign Affairs. I think from a cultural perspective, the DFA is the appropriate government agency that we can collaborate with that will allow access to the different communities all around the world. On the other hand, for the DOT, it allows us to market the Philippines as a brand, wherein there is very good opportunity to experience the art here in the Philippines and invite, of course, foreigners or tourists into the Philippines.
And one would think that that caravan might be the perfect venue for that. Are you getting them all together? I mean, what can we expect from what's coming up from your end? A caravan that you hadn't done in your 4 years in business?
So what we want to do is create this Mapa ng Lakbay. Mapa ng Lakbay is a new program that will be rolling out where we will allow the caravan to give access, education, and support to the artist community that we are developing. And in doing so, we hope to partner with property developers, be accessible in the malls. So expect that we have a show this coming March 17 in the Opus Mall. So it will be the first of our caravan. And we will be doing a lot more throughout the year.
All right, well, all the best. Thank you so much for
Thank
that
you,
and
Cathy.
your insights, Carlo.
Thank you
Carlo
very much.
Pineda of Art House. And Filipinos and Filipino-Chinese communities are coming together to welcome the Chinese New Year with festivities, food, and tradition. For a look at how the celebrations unfolding on the ground, we'll go live to Binondo with mobile journalist Jazz Paredes. So Jazz, a very happy Chinese New Year. How are the celebrations coming along there?
Yung Huachay, Cathy, mula dito sa oldest Chinatown in the world, sa Binondo. Papa-Chinese o non-Chinese naman ay talaga namang nakasaya dito sa pagsulubong ng Chinese New Year dito sa Binondo. At syempre dahil nga ang ating bagong taon ay Year of the Fire Horse, talaga namang nagsusumiklab at energetic ang ating celebration dito sa Binondo Street. At kung makikita niyo, Cathy, tuloy-tuloy yung pagdagsa ng mga tao dito sa Ongping Street at isang bahagi pa lang yan ng kalsada. Dahil doon sa may signage na makikita yung Manila Chinatown ay talagang siksikan at napakahirap na rin makadaan sa dami ng dumadating. At dito rin, Cathy, inibot ko kayo dahil napakaraming nakahilera dito ng iba't ibang klase ng mga pagkain, pampaswerte, na siya ring mga dinadayo talaga ng mga nagpupunta dito. At kanina, nung naglipot-lipot tayo, ang mga common or yung talagang dinadayo dito mga pagkain ay yung mga tikoy, mga hopya, at iba't ibang klase ng mga Chinese delicacy na talaga namang pinipilahan. Kung nakita natin kanina, iba't ibang stores, ang haba talaga ng pila. At syempre, bukod sa mga masuswerteng pagkain, ay meron din tayong mga masuswerteng mga Lucky Charms. Ito, meron dito mga nagtitinda ng mga Lucky Charms, kagaya nilang ni Kuya. Meron din tayong mga Lucky Charm bracelet na for as low as 10 pesos pwede kang makabili. Meron din mga iba't ibang klase ng Lucky Plants, kagaya ng Lucky Bamboo, may Indonesian plant, wishing plant na for as low as 50 pesos ay pwede ka nang maka-avail nito. At dito pa, Cathy, bukod dito sa mga pagkain, ay pwede ka rin magsindi ng insenso dito. At nandito yan sa aking bandang likuran, kung saan pwede kang magsindi ng insenso ng libre lamang, wala itong babayaran. Para sa mga may kahilingan or mga wishes, ay mahaba din talaga ang pila doon para magsindi ng kanilang mga wishes. Pwede rin magsindi ng kandila. At kanina naglibot-libot din tayo, Cathy, na nakita natin na maraming nakadeploy na kapulisan at ilan sa kanila ay merong 50 na police non-commissioned officer, pero para lamang yan sa non-police commissioned officer. May iba't iba pang mga ahensya na nakadeploy din dito sa buong Binondo upang masiguro yung seguridad sa celebration at sa pagsalubong ng Chinese New Year. At mamaya asahan natin, Cathy, yung kanilang yearly or yung annual ng float parade na magmumula sa Manila Post Office hanggang dito sa Manila Chinatown Mall. At dahil dyan, ay meron din tayong advisory, Cathy, na bandang mamayang alas 3 ng hapon sa mga pupunta or dadaan ng Manila Post Office hanggang dito sa Lucky Chinatown Mall ay inirekomendang dumaan sa mga alternatibong ruta. Ang sabi sa post ng Manila Information Office ay maaaring kumanan sa Rose Street o Escolta Street, kumaliwa sa Plaza Santa Cruz at Dasmariñas Street, tapos kakanan sa Quintin Paredes Street, Ongping Street at kakaliwa sa Sabino Padilla, Soler, Lina Regente at diretso sa Lucky Chinatown Mall kung gusto mo makadaan dahil nga syempre mamaya pagdating ng hapon at dadating na rin yung float parade, baka mahirapan ng dumaan yung ating mga motorista. Pero sa ngayon, Cathy, itong sitwasyon dito talaga namang buhay na buhay. Pati na rin yung mga kantahan, mga musiko. Kanina meron pang mga bumubuga ng apoy, Cathy.
Make sure makatikim ka ng tikoy, ha? Carbo load. At mag-uwi ka naman dito sa newsroom. You say it so well, Kong Hei Huatsai, or Kong Hei Fatchoy, or Sinin Kwaila. Thank you so much. Mobile journalist Jazz Paredes reporting live from Binondo. That is it for Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Catch us again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Kapatid, we are one news, all sides, all the time. Have a great Chinese New Year day ahead.